ready
Yeah,
to share.
please,
I'll
please,
share in
please.
just a moment. So, hi, my name is Dr. Teresa Cullen, and I am a professor at Arkansas Tech University. And you might, I don't, so I wanted to share with you so you know where it is I'm from. So let me share. I have a map here to show real quick. And here, okay, so this is the town that I live in, which is called Russellville, Arkansas. It has about 30,000 people in it, but let me zoom out so that you can see it. So here's Russellville right here, so you can watch that. And if I zoom out, you'll see that Russellville is right here. Oh, it didn't, let me just do that. Russellville, Arkansas. So it gives me my little flag there. There we go. And let me zoom out. There's Russellville. And then if we see it in the United States, you'll see it's right in the middle of the United States. Like I said, it's a town of about 30,000 people. In kind of an interesting fact, which is going to be very interesting to see, is that Russellville is one of the places that we're having an eclipse, a total solar eclipse, which is happening here in April. And we're one of the places that will have 4.5 minutes of total darkness. And they expect our town to go from 30,000 people to that day being 200,000 people. So it's a very small town in comparison to probably where you live. What I wanted to show you, though, this is our claim to fame. This is what the town is known for. We have the only nuclear power plant in Arkansas, and it's in our town, and it's right on the lake that we all drive by every day. And so we have a nuclear power plant. And when I first moved here 3 years ago, they asked me, do you have any questions about the community? And I said, well, the nuclear power plant was built in 1974, and so was I. I'm kind of falling apart. How's the nuclear power plant doing? Because of course that made us kind of nervous. But everyone says that because everyone's family lives here, they work very hard to make sure it stays safe. I wanted to show you that this is the campus that I work on, which is Arkansas Tech University. This is what it looks like. We have like a stadium. We have a football field. I actually teach in this building right here, which is called Crayball Hall. And then right now, the big exciting thing that's happening is that they have removed this building right here, and they're going to build a giant student union. And it's all fences and construction, but it's going to be a very big thing. But we have a building that's for math and science, a building for humanities like history, foreign language, and English. And we have a large library, and also a building for math and science, and a building for like physical education and music. So we have lots of different degrees and majors that people can do. Okay, so let me stop sharing again.
Yeah.
So
yes, I happened to pass by the nuclear power project actually when I visited your region. So
yes.
yeah, after that I texted you that I passed by your region and you happened to visit my place. Yeah, yes, I had a hand-in experience visiting your region.
So
waiting to ask you, Jessica, go ahead and ask the question.
Okay.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
This is Jessica, an 8th grade student. I would like to ask you a question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes.
What courses does your university offer?
Okay, so we offer a lot of different classes. We have a very large engineering program. I teach in the education department, so we teach people how to become teachers and principals. Then we have, we're very well known for our music program so that people can direct bands and orchestras. And we're also known for our theater and our like social media and web development kind of classes. We have a video game development major where people can come to learn how to do animation. It's part of our art department. so that they can learn to design video games. And then there's two others that are kind of our specialty. Well, three others that are our specialty. We have a degree in emergency management. So like, you know, like when there's a storm or a flood, and, you know, the people who work to make sure everyone's safe, we have the oldest program in the country to be able to be a person to manage emergencies. And we recently had a tornado in Arkansas, and many of our students volunteered and helped the people as they're trying to rebuild their homes. Then we also have a fish and wild. So Arkansas is known as the natural state. We have a lot of parks and really beautiful hikes and things. And so we have a Parks and Rec department, which teaches people how to be like a park ranger to help people experience those things. And we also have a very large fish and wildlife major. So people know how to protect our lakes and streams. So those are our big majors.
Thank you.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fine, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. This is Nandakishore, an 8th grade student from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. I would like to ask a question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes, please.
What are the potential benefits of virtual reality technology?
So what? They don't know. Okay. Oh, they're not available. Okay. So let me show you. I'm going to grab it from right here. Okay. So if you don't know, this is what a virtual reality headset looks like. Yes. And that you put it on, and then you can interact with things in 3D. And so I'm working with a school, which is actually in our neighboring state in Oklahoma, in order to design so that the students, instead of being in a Zoom, the students all get sent home with one of these. And then they can be in the classroom all together. You can talk to each other, you can hear things. You can also, we're using it for training people to work in like the oil industry, and also in the like service industries. And so what we're doing is we're making it so that students can practice. Like for example, one of them is engine repair. And the engines that they work on are the engines that are in the very large trucks. And the engines weigh about 2,000 pounds. And I don't know what that would be in kilograms, but they're very, very heavy. And so you can't allow a student to work on them alone, because if they fall, they could get hurt. And so we have gone and scanned all the parts and put them into a digital form. So now what students can do is they learn about things in class, and they go home with this, and they can practice how to fix the engines on like a virtual engine, so that when they come to class, they can learn like things that only the teacher can show them. And so they can practice at home and be ready for class.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
What are the 21st century skills?
Oh, the 21st century skills. Thank you so much. Yes. So 21st century skills are what we're looking for is, and you probably talk about these in India a lot, because a lot of people that work in our technology work actually are in India. And so what we're looking for is students who can problem solve, and also like identify problems and work with other people to solve them. So when we're talking about 21st century skills, we're looking for technology skills, but also more importantly, people skills when using technology. So like this kind of a call, these are some of the skills that we're looking for, so that you can speak to people online, communicate clearly. And then also if we were working together on a technology project, that we could say how we could solve a problem and work it together. And so a lot of those skills, while we want people to be able to program and all those other things like that, a lot of them come down to, it's good for you to know the technology and the math in order to do the technical things, but they're also looking for people who can talk and who can explain things to other people. And that's something that's often missing.
Okay, thank you. And who is going to
Good
ask?
evening, ma'am. This is Nazma. I am 8th grade student. I like to ask a question here. Question is, what do you teach at
I teach at the university. So what I actually teach, primarily, I teach teachers like your teacher how to use technology in school. So you know how like using technology can be kind of hard to think about it to go with the subjects. My job is to help teachers think creatively how they can teach either online like this, or also how maybe they can help students who have trouble learning using technology. I thought I'd show you an example real quick. I'm going to just show you a quick example of something my students made. So this summer, every summer, I teach a class that's 1 month long. And what we do is we make books, and we have the books online where each teacher makes a book to explain how to use a different technology. And then what we do is we publish them online so that all the other teachers can learn how to use those books, use those tools as well. And so each teacher makes their own book. So like this is an elementary teacher, and she taught how to use Khan Academy, and she included videos and different things about how she would use this in her classroom. And so it's something, my ultimate goal is to make the teachers feel like they can learn new things even outside of school. That's very important for teachers, that they continue to learn. And so my job is to help them know where they can learn new things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This is
Good
Krishna,
afternoon.
an 8th student from Z.P.H.S School, Ilavaram. Can I ask you a question, ma'am?
Yes, please.
What are the potential drawbacks of virtual reality?
What are the drawbacks of virtual reality? It's about access. And I think you guys could probably relate to that not everybody has one of these, you know? These cost like around $400. And so to have a headset, that sometimes is something that students don't have access to. Also, they're very, to program them, they're kind of expensive. Like once you make the new game or program, the program is expensive to make. So some schools can't afford it. And then this is actually something that'll interest you. The language that's written in is Unreal, but there's several other languages. And there's not enough programmers in the United States to make them. And so like I have a friend who owns a company who makes new virtual reality learning centers. He can't find the people to write the code for him. And so he has all these ideas and all these companies that want to buy it from him, but he doesn't have enough people to do the work. And so when they do talk to you about studying computer science, that's actually, they're not wrong. That's a good field to be in because there's a shortage. Worldwide, there's a shortage.
Okay, thank you so much. And here is the one question, Dr. Teresa. I am going to ask this question. So do you think that artificial intelligence takes away all jobs in the future? As you know that artificial intelligence is occupying in each and every sector. So if people are actually they are thinking that this artificial intelligence is going to take away all the jobs of human beings in the future. What do you say about this?
So, I think a lot of it will depend on how we approach it right now. I have a few of my fellow professors who right now are like, oh, we need to make sure that we know what punishments the student gets if they use artificial intelligence to do their homework. And I kind of disagree with them. I think what we need to do is we need to spend much time with students understanding how to judge if what artificial intelligence did was right or wrong. So like, for example, I'll give you an example. So they're using artificial intelligence with like medical, like looking at x-rays and things, like looking, right? And so there's algorithms. They took a bunch of pictures of like some people who were healthy and some people who had disease. They fed them through the computer. So the computer can look at the picture and say, oh, wait, this is something I'm looking for. They may be able to find something that the human eye doesn't find, but the human eye, you have to look at it and go, was that a smudge or was that a real problem, right? And anyway, so what I was just going to say is that so honestly, this is when we go back to those 21st century skills, being able to judge what the computer does and decide if it's right or wrong, and using our human thinking to look at the computer output is going to be an incredibly important skill for us to have, because the only way that AI is going to take our jobs and things is if we're lazy. If we let the computers do the thing and we're like, oh, that must be good. Like, we don't get the knowledge ourselves, because in the end, it is our job to learn how to vet it and to critically think about it.
Yes,
An 8th grade student from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. Namaste from
Okay.
India. I'm so proud to ask you a question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes, please.
What is virtual reality and how does it work?
Okay, so I kind of showed you this, but let me see. I think I might have a video on here. Let me look real quick, okay? Let me just see if I have a video. I had a different computer open for a second. And so let me see. Oh, I know what video I have open. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Yes, I was having trouble connecting, so I had to open a second computer. Okay, here we go.
yes.
Can you see?
We're doing a Zoom meeting right now. The difference is night and day between even a meeting of a committee or something. This is almost just like being there. I mean, so it's what I can see a lot of beneficial. I think a lot of people resist this, but I think it's. I mean, I ran into some resistance from people, like, well, that's, blah blah blah. But I think it's really good. I would rather meet like this than on a Zoom meeting. Me too. Because you almost have to be you almost have to be engaged in this meeting.
So I just had this clip on my computer, but this is what the project I'm working on. If you see right here, that engine I was telling you about is sitting right over in the background. Yes. And we could go and all stand around the engine and work on the engine. But I had recorded that professor who was talking about, who was talking about how it made a difference in his teaching. So I thought that you might find that interesting. Go back to Zoom here. And so as you can see, we all put the headsets on. I was in Arkansas. One of them was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and several others were in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. So we were all in like 2 and 3 hours away from each other, but we were all just standing in a room having a conversation. And that's the cool thing about virtual reality.
Any more questions from your side? Still, we have a few more questions left. Yes, Dr. Teresa, I have a question. Could you please share the demanding or highly demanding courses in your university? So these, probably in future might fancy their chances in your university.
I would say computer science and engineering, definitely, partially because they make a lot of money and our state really wants more people to do that. We also, our school started out as an agriculture school. And so we have we have a farm that is on our university. And so many students come where they study with us as an undergraduate, and many of them major in agriculture so they can go on and be a veterinarian and that they can be an animal doctor. Okay. So we have a lot.
Yes. So what is your teaching philosophy? We would like to know from it.
Okay, my teaching philosophy. I think, so for me, a lot of times our teaching philosophy is shaped by our own experiences. And I have to say that I've always been pretty smart, a pretty smart student, but I was very bored in school. I was very bored. And I got into a lot of trouble because I was so bored. And I spent a lot of time in the principal's office. And it wasn't because I was a bad kid. I was bored. And so what I try to do is try to make sure that our learning is as hands-on as possible so that the students are excited and interested. And so I also try to let students have some choice. So like when I showed you all the books that my students made, I didn't tell them what book to make. I said, find something you want to learn about. Here are the guidelines that you have to learn about, and find something that matches them, and then learn about something that you can use in your work or your life so that it is meaningful to you. And so I get a lot of good feedback from my students that they don't feel like I'm just trying to waste their time, that I'm trying to teach them something they can use right away. And so that's part of my philosophy.
So, Doctor, you have been witnessing my activities for the last 5 to 6 years. Of course, you know that I'm trying to take my students beyond the classroom. So, do you think that these kind of activities that I am currently holding or organizing are important for these kids who are in a rural village like in Ilavaram, located in southern part of India? Is highly recommendable to do these kind of practices in all schools in my state?
So I will tell you that even in the United States, so the thing is that many of our students have never been out of our state. And so like I've done some things to try to get students to understand what it's like to be in other countries. I've gone and traveled with students to other countries because it is so important, and our world is so global. And I had an experience, we actually had an Indian professor who interviewed to be a professor at our university. And I had somebody say, I don't know, am I going to be able to understand them? And I thought to myself, girl, I can hardly understand you. And so it was funny to me that, it's very clear. You can tell the difference of people who have a sense that there is more beyond their community. And those people tend to go further. I even, I'll use this example. Is it a big thing in your country to do like high school reunions? Is that a thing that you do? Do you have like?
Of course, yeah. There are a few more reunions takes place in many colleges, yes, schools also. Yeah.
So I was going to say, one of the things you see in the United States is, they have these high school reunions for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. What's truly interesting to me is that there is a group of students. I just had my 30-year reunion because I'm incredibly old, right? And the students who went to it were the students who have never left the town, and they're talking about what was life like in high school. And when I looked, should I go? Should I not go? And all the people, my friends that lived in other countries, my people I went to school with who had gone on to important jobs, none of them went back to it because they had a larger view of the world. And I'm still in contact with them. But it is interesting to me, there seems to be either those that understand there's more beyond their experience, and that is something we look for in students. And, I think too about, I have many friends that came to study in the United States from other countries. And I always think how brave they must be. For some of them, it was their first time leaving the country to come to our city. And I think to myself, how brave you must be to come, leave your family home and come and study in the United States. But I've had many friends tell me that when they return back to their country, that their experiences changes their whole perspective and helps them to see the world as a much bigger place.
Absolutely. So these kids are so passionate about learning English. These kids are so keen to improve their communicative skills. You see, it is Sunday in India, that to morning, 9 a.m. So these kids all have joined. So you can appreciate their interest towards improving their communicative skills. So before we wind up this session, could you please give a final message to these wonderful students?
Well, I just was going to say, I'm so excited to have a chance to speak with you. And I hope that you will continue to get to meet people from other countries and think about where you might be. I was thinking about a student I met several years ago. I was at a special university where the students were required to do some sort of international travel. And it was a student who had never been out of the United States. And they said, I don't believe that I might go to another country. And I happen to have, just because when I travel, I always hide money in my bag because I'm always afraid that I'm going to get pickpocketed, right? And so, you know, I put a little in this pocket. I got a euro here and a euro there. And I reached in my pocket, I had €5, which is around $5. And I said to the girl, I said, you know what? I'm going to give you these €5. And she goes, why? And I said, because when you get to go to another country, you'll be able to use these. And she goes, but I don't know if I'll ever get there. I said, I believe that you will. And I too believe that if you dream that you want to be somewhere bigger, or your skills that you're learning in English are going to serve you incredibly well.
Yes, thank you.